Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with President Bongbong Marcos, seeking to reaffirm ties between the Philippines and America. Blinken told Marcos that the United States is committed to the Mutual Defense Treaty and to working with the Philippines on, quote, shared challenges. President Marcos, for his part, said that the defense treaty is a constant evolution. Recall that amendments to this military deal were proposed under the Duterte administration. The former president also made buzz for threatening to terminate the Visiting Forces Agreement. Meanwhile, the Commission on Higher Education is backing the return of mandatory ROTC with proposals for an advanced ROTC program at the college level. Camille Samonte tells us more.
The ROTC program as a mandatory component.
Mandatory ROTC is among President Bongbong Marcos' priority measures. With this, the Commission on Higher Education is supporting the proposal as well. Once mandatory ROTC for senior high school pushes through, an optional advanced ROTC program will be implemented at the college level. De Vera said this program will be skills-based. Those who will complete the program will receive a diploma or certificate in military sciences or disaster management. The Commission will also amend the National Service Training Program currently implemented in college.
Ang mangyayari dito ay yung advanced ROTC as an option sa NSTP will already produce possible officers that can be recruited into the armed forces or to the reserve corps.
However, some students are still hesitant to participate in the program.
Kasi di ba po sa ibang military service po may nagkakaroon po ng hazing, tapos yung iba po nakakabis po ng mga ibang kasama po sa pagtitraining po, di ba? Kasi minsan may mga nasasaktan na babalta na hazing po.
The mandatory ROTC was abolished in 2002 after the death of University of Santo Tomas student Mark Chua, who was killed by his ROTC fellow after exposing the corruption and anomalies within the training corps. Chua's friend and former abolished ROTC spokesperson Attorney Vijay Topacio expresses concerns over the imposition of mandatory ROTC.
Yung hustisya para sa pamilya ni Mark Wilson Chua at sa lahat ng Tomasino ay hindi pa nakakamit ng buo kasi may mga hindi pa nahuhuli. Sa years and decades of abuses, tama na, huwag na nating ibalik.
Some legislators, including Senator Bato de la Rosa, have also thrown their support for mandatory ROTC. For News 5, Camille Samonte, we are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The DOH warns of a possible increase in COVID hospitalizations in a few months if the public continues to disregard health protocols and miss out on getting vaccinated. JC Cosico with a report.
COVID-19 cases in the country are still on a steady rise. Latest data from the Health Department shows that positivity rate nationwide has gone up to 18%. COVID cases have also been averaging about 3,700 per day for the past week. But the DOH expects this to climb if disregard for health protocols continue, along with low booster take-up and the threat of new variants. DOH Officer in Charge Maria Rosario Vergeres says daily cases could climb to as much as 19,000 by end August.
If the assumption would be magtutuloy-tuloy na bumababa ang compliance ng ating mga kababayan sa ating pagmamask, sa ating pag-uugas ng kamay, pagpunta sa masisikip na lugar, at saka kung mame-maintain lang at hindi na mag-i-improve ang pagbabakuna natin, especially for the first booster shots.
Despite the uptick in cases, the country remains at low risk for COVID-19. COVID hospital admissions are also seeing a rise, but remains at low-risk classification. But the DOH warns against complacency, saying admissions could still increase from September to October. This as the country detects more cases of Omicron sub-variants. The DOH also clarified it has removed prioritization in getting jabs. This means all eligible persons, regardless of age and profile, will be allowed to get the primary shots.
Ngayon po that we have enough supplies are sufficient until the end of this year, wala na ho tayong ginagawang prioritization. Lahat po nung tinatawag natin na eligible population, maari na magpabakuna. Pag sinabi po nating eligible, ibig sabihin, pasok kayo dun sa criteria nung siyensya.
The move to open vaccinations is expected to address the issue of expiring vaccines, which is now the subject of Senate inquiry. But the Health Department insists that the rate of vaccine wastage in the country remains low, below 10%. Nevertheless, Vergeres says they are prepared to answer questions regarding the matter. For News 5, JC Cosico, we are One News.
The emergence of new COVID subvariants has been driving cases up, according to a public health expert. Dr. Tony Leachon told the big story that surveillance for variants like the BA.5, BA.4, and recently detected BA.2.75 remains to be a challenge. Leachon added that there could be more cases left undetected, as symptoms from these subvariants are believed to be more manageable compared to the initial COVID strains.
It's actually a subvariant of concern right now, not only BA.5, but the other subvariants like BA.4 and the latest 2.75. We see a lot of patients on telemedicine, and then slowly the healthcare utilization rate is going up as well.
Meanwhile, infectious disease expert Dr. Ronchin Solante is urging the government to allow all vaccines to be used as COVID-19 booster shots. Solante said that this will help address vaccine wastage.
We were recommending all vaccines can be used as booster, okay? Not only the mRNA, but what happened is that only the mRNA vaccines were being used, and I think that's why a lot of Astra vaccines expired. No? So, sayang din. Okay. So these are some of the important issues on the ground.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 1:13 in the afternoon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.
like you're